Hello. Hopefully this recording works. I've tried twice to make this recording and my editing program tells me after I record it that it wasn't recorded. So, I'm watching my things go by here. Hopefully that works. But, getting on with more of the JW stuff. See, I have seen a few new channels, wonderful channels, of people standing up and speaking up, and I applaud them. I really do, because it's a brave thing to do. The organization does not tell its members what's really going on. What they do is they only tell them what they want them to know. And then they tell them only go to JW approved sites on the internet because you'll be safe that way. Now, Toni Morris said that if you go to approved sites, that way you'll be safe. Well, why is it that if you ask a Jehovah's Witness that they will say, oh, I can go anywhere on the internet, I can read anything I want, I can watch any movie I want, whatever. They will tell you that they can do that. But it's an outright lie, because they know that there are books you cannot read, there are sites on the internet you cannot go to. You will get in trouble if somebody finds out that you're researching the organization, even. You know, if you start asking, and if you start watching something or reading something, and then you have a question about it and you happen to mention it to anybody in the congregation, the elders will find out you're asking that question. And then you'll be brought in front of the elders and they'll say, you have been on the internet, haven't you? And they'll try to hang you with that. You know, it's just no good. There's consequences for going on different sites or reading books or going to movies or something like that. They self-police the organization, so if somebody sees another brother or sister doing something, they'll go right to an elder and say, hey, I saw so-and-so was doing this and that, and then, you know, so there's consequences. Always got somebody looking over your shoulder. You know, poke them in the eye. Anyway, the biggest thing is the shunning thing. The organization says on its sites and in the magazines, even on the Australian Royal Commission, when they asked the elders that were from the branch there those questions, they said, well, you know, what about shunning family members? And they basically said, no, they don't do that. That the family itself carries on as normal. You just can't discuss religion with them. But as far as everyone else shunning them, it's the person being shunned that chose to be shunned. That's the way they look at it. It's not their fault that that person is shunned. That person chose to do whatever they did to get shunned. But you see, they're shunning people for everything. Anything. You can't even ask a question for fear of getting in trouble or told, we want you to sit and write a dissociation letter, or they're going to make a public announcement that you're disfellowshipped. That's your choice. You either write the letter now in front of us, or we're going to announce that you're disfellowshipped. They don't leave you an out. They don't give you a choice. It's you're out or you're out, right? Well, other people from the outside of the organization see it as the organization's doctrine is what makes them shun people for every little thing, you know? And the organization looks at it as the person made the choice to be shunned. And they say that, if you watch the videos from the Australian Royal Commission even, when they ask the elders that, that's exactly what they say, is that, we didn't do that, they did it. It was a choice they made. They knew what was going to happen. But the thing is, they've gone completely overboard and shunned people for anything and everything that they can think of possibly. Jehovah's Witnesses, look around your Kingdom Hall. How many empty seats are there? If you go to a neighboring Kingdom Hall, say you missed your meeting on Sunday and you wanted to go to the afternoon meeting or morning meeting, different from yours, and you show up, how many empty seats are there? I have seen videos where people walk into Kingdom Halls. Doesn't matter for what reason or what they're doing, but there are more empty seats than there are people in the hall to fill any seats. It is more. There's more empty seats in every single Kingdom Hall that I've seen pictures of. The Kingdom Hall I grew up in held about I think it was about 200 people. I've seen a few Kingdom Halls on YouTube and videos and stuff that are about the same size. Some of them are even smaller. Some of them are like a quarter of the size of the Kingdom Hall that I grew up in. And no matter the size of the Kingdom Hall, they're mostly empty. And yet, in a Jehovah's Witness mind, they tell people that they're growing, they're expanding. There's more of them this year than there was last year. They're growing, fastest growing religion in the world, and all this other stuff. But where's the people? Why have they stopped making bi-monthly magazines? And then they switched to monthly magazines, and now they're going to switch to magazines every couple of months. They're cutting the yearbook. They're begging for money. On jw.org, you could see Stephen Lett tell people there's more money going out than there is coming in. And no, they don't want to be like other people on TV and beg for money. But, God loves a cheerful giver. And they keep pushing that, that it's the right thing to do and you're supposed to do that. And, I'm like, where are they going with all of this? And then you step back and you look at the organization in front of you. And lots of things you cannot see when you're on the inside, but you have to step back and look at the big picture to see what's going on. But see, not one JW will step back and look at the big picture. They see it from the inside, and the organization tells them, you're a happy people. This is the place to be. We're having the best time of our lives, and it's so fun, and they keep telling that over and over and over and over again. Every time you hear someone give a talk, they tell you those same things over and over and over again. Gets in your head, and pretty soon you start believing it. Instead of looking around and saying, well, how can they say that? They closed 2 Kingdom Halls in our town, and the overflow came to this hall and another hall and another hall. So why did they close those halls? If there's more people, each hall would be jam-packed, elbow to elbow. The Kingdom Hall I grew up in, most of the time, didn't matter what meeting there was there, most of the time, they had to put up extra chairs for people to sit on because all the rest of the normal seats in the hall were full. And I mean, kids on laps. They didn't put kids in their own chairs. Kids were on mom and dad's laps. Well, the older kids had their own chair, but little kids, they didn't put little kids in chairs, you know. And they were all filled in, so they had to set up extra chairs in the back. When the memorial came, there was standing room only. It was shoulder to shoulder around the walls. All the seats were full. All the extra seats were taken out and filled. And I mean, they had people standing up. Hardly anybody else could even get in that building when the memorial came. Now look, you see a memorial on a YouTube channel at a regular Kingdom Hall, and it's just like the meetings. There's more empty seats than there are people in there. And yet the JWs will tell people, we're growing, we're expanding, we're doing so good. And the only reason that a Jehovah's Witness can say that is because the organization has drilled it into their head over and over and over again. We're growing, we're better, we're the best. They give these pep rally talks all the time about how wonderful it is. And yet the people are tired and exhausted and self-medicating and taking drugs to be happy. If they were really filled with God's Spirit and happy people, they wouldn't need drugs for depression and anxiety and all of those things. They just wouldn't. I understand people getting medicated for thyroid disorders and high blood pressure and heart disease and diabetes and things like that, but why are all these Jehovah's Witnesses on why are they on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication? And why are they all fearful? If they're really God's people, they'd have no fear of the world the way it is or the way it's going to be, because they'd be protected by God. He's always protected his people. In the Old Testament, look, he would strike down whole nations of people if they messed with his people. But all the cutbacks and all the things going wrong in the organization, them being infiltrated by so many perverts that are raping and molesting children, and they sit back and don't do anything about it. Most Jehovah's Witnesses, if you ask them about it, they say, well, Jehovah will take care of that. We have faith that Jehovah will take care of that. But they don't realize that God would expect you to take care of that because it's the right thing to do. You don't just ignore it hoping it'll go away. That's just insane thinking. But they don't want to face the reality of it. They would rather put their heads in the sand and ignore it and pretend that their God would take care of it for them. Well, we just have to be patient. It'll be in God's time, not ours. But while you're waiting, he's waiting for you to do something about it. And that's why there's so many cutbacks and everything's getting cut down in that organization. And that's why you're getting banned for being extreme. It's because of the things that you are failing to take care of and the things that you're not doing and the things that you've twisted into your own ideas. And it just isn't working. Hello? It isn't working. But it's up to the individuals in the organization to stand up, speak up, and do something about the wrong that's going on. You're not supposed to see the wrong and then sit and do nothing, thinking that someone else will take care of it. When you see the wrong, you have to speak up and say, hey, that's wrong. We shouldn't be letting that happen. We have to fix that. But not one of them will stand up and speak up because there's consequences. And if any Jehovah's Witness says that it's a lie, oh, we're not like that. Oh, no, we don't have pedophiles. Or the numbers are lower in our org than the general pop. No, it's not. That's denial that's speaking. That's not doing the research. Because you know in your head and your heart that if you look those things up, there's consequences for you doing that. That's why you're not doing it. Because you are afraid of the consequences. Because if you find something out, you could lose your whole family. But I want to tell you something. It'll really clear up your conscience and make you feel a whole lot better if you stand up, speak up, and tell those people it's wrong, it shouldn't be happening, we need to do something about it. Instead of just sitting there going, oh, Jehovah will take care of it. We don't have to worry about it. That's ill mind speaking when you choose to do that. Because nothing's going to change unless you stand up, speak up, and do something about it. Plain and simple. And there was a self-proclaimed Jehovah's Witness that left a comment for me on another channel asking me what I thought Jesus would feel about this or he would feel about that. Didn't ask me what the Bible says about it. He says, well, what do you think Jesus would say about it? And I says, well, I'm not going to speak for Jesus. You're not supposed to do that. He's spoken for himself. It's written in the Word. But I am not going to say Jesus says or Jesus told me or anything like that. I don't get into that because people that are doing wrong are going to be judged. I'm not the judge because I'm going to be judged how I judge other people. So the Bible says. And all I know is that Jesus said we're supposed to love one another. And we should love others as we love ourselves. And, all these examples of how we're supposed to be good to other people. And tolerant of the way other people believe. And tolerant of the way that they live. Because even in Hebrews, I think it's Hebrews 14, it explains that in our day, that there's going to be people that consider one day holy, and other group of people that consider a different day holy. And some people are going to not eat this kind of food, and other people will not eat this kind of food, and that's okay. Because that relationship is between them and God. That's how they worship their God. It's okay for them. It's okay for me to believe the way I believe. But when it all comes down to it, the great judge up in heaven is going to judge people for the way they lived and the way their heart condition is. But it's not for us to do that. And every JW needs to get a couple of different versions of the Bible. Not just the New World version, but also get a few more of them together and look at the scriptures, read through each of the scriptures, read it in each version, and see what idea they were trying to get across. And look at it that way. Don't just open up the New World Testament, the New World Translation, Don't just open up the New World Translation and think that that is the way it is, because I know, and a lot of other people know, who have compared that version to others, find that they change the meaning in some of the verses, and there's a lot of flaws in it. So I would encourage Jehovah's Witnesses to get several different versions and look at all of them and compare them. Don't just trust one, But I want to give a shout out to Beast Ender. He's a little fan who does video games on YouTube, shows little video games and stuff. I started watching him because another person was giving him a shout out, so I checked it out. The reason I was watching his channel is because he does these video games, and it's like, I'm a grandmother, and I'm gonna have to know how some of these games work so I can do things with my grandkids, you know? So I started watching him. He's a really smart kid. He's got a bright future ahead of him, good imagination, and just a wonderful thing, beast ender. And there's Carver, KLA 21, and he has a really good channel. He shows how he does some drawings and things, and I think these guys are 13 or 14, something like that. But Carver does drawings, and I mean, I can see drawings in my head, and trying to get my hand to do them, I can't really do it. But I watch him draw these things, and I'm like, oh wow, that's how you do it. You know, I love watching him draw things, and he has some crazy things he draws, but they're good people. So check their little channels out. Maybe your young kids or your grandkids would like to see their channels too. So check them out. Um, I'll get back to you later. Hopefully this recorded. Have a good one, guys. Bye bye.